Thank you, everybody who is here today for tuning in to the Travelin Hustlers podcast, where we share how digital nomads make money. This podcast is about breaking down the silo effect in the nomad community, and our intent here is to openly share actionable ideas to hustlers trying to be digital nomads. So, my name is Lavelle,
My name is Paris.
and we've got Tabitha here.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if you could tell us your story and why you got into van life.
Perfect. Well, like you guys, I got into van life because I wanted to pay off debts and pay down. I wanted to maximize my income that I had by, or leverage my income by living smaller. And of course, I was just completely taken back by small living and people living in vans. And like many others, I scoured the internet and got completely consumed in van life videos. So this was definitely something that was a lot of thought in the making. I took a lot of time to think about it and dream about it. And then finally I went ahead and took the step. So
So, did you have family that was in van life, or how did you come to the idea of let me go and scour the internet for van life videos?
um so I cannot remember how van life was introduced to me. I don't have any family that does van life. I think the closest I have an uncle who lived out of a tent for several years in Yosemite, and he did that working as like it wasn't a park ranger, but he worked at the park, and he did that. So that's the closest I had to some example of living on the road or living small. Now, when it comes to being introduced to van life, I don't know. And I think it started off as just tiny living. I wanted
Hmm.
to have a tiny house. And when I found tiny houses on wheels, I was like, "Oh, I'm sold. I need to do it this way." Cuz I can travel. I love traveling. So, being stationary wasn't a problem for me, but when I realized that this was something that could be done nomadically, I was like completely sold, especially with the career that I do.
Hmm. And so, what kind of vehicle do you have, and what made you choose that vehicle?
I am currently in a 2002 GMC Savannah. It is a 3500, so it can carry the most load behind it. When I hit the market looking for a vehicle, I all I knew is I wanted something that was spacious. I didn't want to. I felt like the vans that people had were really skinny, and that would make me feel really claustrophobic. So I was like, I don't know. So at first, my initial van of choice was going to be the Nissan. I don't know if you guys know about that one, but the Nissan van, and then something, another random video online, somebody had converted a U-Haul truck,
Wow.
and it was the only one I'd seen, and I was like, what the heck am I thinking? I'm going to get a box truck. So I completely switched gears and started looking for a box truck. I found the truck that I have on Facebook. And one thing I did was I wrote down everything that I needed. I wanted it to be less than 60,000 miles. I wanted to pay less than $9,000 for it. And I knew I wanted it to be older than a 2005 because then anybody could work on it.
Nice.
And then I found this on Facebook. So it was an awesome opportunity, and I didn't hesitate to go snatch it up.
Yeah, so I did notice you had a box truck, and we did. I don't know if you were talking about the Nissan NV 2500 because
Hmm.
that was the first van that we had. Four of our van life years was in a low top uh, Nissan NV 2500. So is that
Yeah,
is
I
that the one?
remember.
Yeah. So I didn't at the Black Nomads meet. I didn't get to completely get a tour of your rig. but I do remember that there was a lot of unique aspects about it, and I like that, the color and the color scheme that you have going on inside. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell me it's too dark in here, and I'm like, yeah, I like it this way though.
That's what they've been telling us too. They're gonna say we need to brighten our van up because it's like black, almost like yours. Yours is like
Uh,
black.
I'm like, why should I brighten it up? If I need it to be bright, I'll open the window and let some light
Mhm.
in. But
So,
I like to choose that.
what are some ways you make money on the road?
So right now, biggest, my bread and butter right now would be I am a full-time insurance adjuster. And the job itself is like very similar to a traveling nurse, where you would go to different states, and work a specific assignment or an agreed upon time frame that you'd be in that state doing work. So as a claims adjuster, I do work with insurance companies adjusting their property claims. I do work with insurance companies adjusting their property claims. I don't do auto. I just do houses. Um, it's like I said, my bread and butter, so it's okay.
And that's what really drew me to wanting you on this podcast because I really like that you were full time at doing the insurance adjustment before you started van life. And I thought
Mm,
it was pretty cool that, you didn't quit your job to just get on the road. You actually still do your job and
yeah.
also create content as well to show people. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, thank you. I'm working on that content part,
So
but
she,
definitely.
so Paris just said, you kept doing your same job. Is it your same job? Like, were you always an insurance adjuster and then you decided to move into van life and it was compatible, or did you find that after deciding to do van life?
Well, actually, I came across insurance adjusting before I learned about van life, and the stars just aligned to where it was the perfect job for the perfect lifestyle. Um, so prior to me actually being an adjuster, I am a licensed hairstylist, which can also be something I do traveling. Um, but I was transitioning from being a hairstylist into this new career, and I lived out of a car. I lived out of a 2012 Dodge Avenger for like a year before I even got the truck. So that was interesting.
Wow, that's some new news. So if you lived out of a car before you started doing the box truck life, did the pandemic affect you at all?
No, so I was in the box truck the entire time throughout the pandemic, and I was working throughout the entire pandemic. So they considered my job, which is it might be something that someone needs to hear. It was considered an essential business because it's in the financial sector, and I continued to work throughout the pandemic. So it was a blessing, but it was also really stressful. I got to work and I was able to continue to make money, but being in people's houses and just going from house to house to house, still seeing about three families a day during the height of the pandemic, it was interesting.
So, so one of the things that we ask everyone who comes onto this show is what their financial focus was when they
Mm.
decided to choose van life. Was it saving money, investing money, or making more money?
All of the above. Check, check, check. So I wanted to save money, I wanted to pay off debt, and I wanted to be investing. So I've been able to do all three. So I was able to save money. You know, I put about 3 months of my van life expenses into a savings account, and then I was able to invest. I actually do have a separate thing that I have going, and this also happened before van life, but is something that I still work on. I have a real estate business, so I do have a property with my real estate business, and then being able to, make more money. I don't spend money. Most adjusters spend a lot of money in hotels, and I don't have to spend that money or shell that kind of money out. Thank goodness. The most I spend, I actually use Hip Camp, which is a service you can purchase or rent someone's private land, and they've set it up for RV camping. And so I use Hip Camp to maybe spend $1,000 for, you know, 45 days, 45 where I'm have water, access to water and electricity while I'm working, as opposed to other adjusters who might spend that in a week. So I definitely save the money there.
Nice. Thanks for that plug. I've always saw Hip Camp, but I've never trusted it because I never knew anyone else that actually used the website. Like, people use Airbnb and it's so like
Mm,
thrown out there, but Hip Camp, thank you for that. Like, I've
yeah,
seen that.
yeah, yeah. I gave it a shot because there wasn't really a lot of other options for me. I'm in Maryland right now.
Mhm.
And so I was going to be sleeping at a Walmart, and I just didn't have the patience for that. It's too hot.
Yeah, we know all about that too hot. 4 years without any air conditioning. So,
Ooh.
and then when we got it, it was tripping. So crazy. I'm wondering how, I mean, is that your only stream of income or how difficult is it to make money for you on the road?
Well, it's really great because it does pay well. So I can work for, 3 months at a time and be off for and another 3 months. So that is a plus. However, when I do work, my workload is, my requirements, they require me to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm on all the time, and it's physically draining. It can be mentally draining. However, if you've got the mental fortitude, if you've got something you're working towards, it's a really great opportunity to, make some money. I don't like to be still, so I love moving around. I actually have an inspection later after this, so I'll be going to that. And I get to see a lot of places that I would not have seen otherwise. So, you might travel to Maryland, but you won't go to the backwoods of Maryland and see like, oh, this is actually here, because I get to go to people's houses. I do have a more intimate experience with the places that I visit. So it is hard, but there's a lot of awesome benefits to it as well.
Mhm. So how has being an insurance adjuster has helped you with your investment property?
Oh, that's a great question. So, being an insurance adjuster allows me to, first of all, one of the main things, I inspect houses every day. So, when I do inspect properties that I might be interested in investing into, I have a better eye for what could be, damage, what could be a potential issue, and then that also helps me to be a better negotiator with
Mhm.
the people that might be selling the property. So that's a plus to that, and also understanding the paperwork behind it all. um, a lot of people, don't understand insurance, and so understanding insurance has allowed me to make a better decision when I'm insuring my properties, or if I have a claim to put in, I'm able to make a more powerful decision understanding the insurance world. So it does help there. It's also a really great, segue into learning just finances and keeping up with what's going on in the world in general. So,
So I got a question, kind of goes into that. So I am currently becoming a licensed agent here in Georgia,
oh, okay.
coming August. But before I decided to do um, become an agent, I've been trying to become an investor in any capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And inspecting is something that I am very interested in. So I wanted to know what your relationship was, because I'm sure being having a property, you understand that you need to hire an inspector.
Mm-hmm.
The uh, so how does an insurance adjuster who's inspecting a property differ from an inspector that you hire to come and uh, check the house out?
So usually an inspector that comes out to check a house, they do what's called like a 5 point or 9 point inspection where they're looking at everything. They're going to look at HVAC, they're going to look at the roof, they're going to look at windows, and they're going to test, air conditioning. I think I said that HVAC. If
Mhm.
you have a boiler in your house, if you have a basement, they check all those things that could be a potential issue for the homeowner. Whereas as an adjuster, my job most of the time is to go out and inspect damages that were reported. We don't typically go above and beyond for that inspection just because um, we might find something that is damaged and it may not be related to the claim. So we don't usually go too far above and beyond unless it's warranted. If a water leak affected the basement and there might be an HVAC unit in the basement, something like that, then I'm having to do a little bit more. But typically, we just inspect the damage that's reported.
Thank you very much. That definitely cleared it up. Because I was only familiar with auto injustice. I've only had experience with them coming to check out car damage.
Mm.
So, being that we may be homeowners soon, I kind of know I have a better grasp of the differences.
Well,
And
listen,
so,
you guys can. Oh, go ahead.
oh no,
Sorry.
you can go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you guys are looking to buy a house, let me know. I'll come look at it.
Nice.
But you're gonna be inspecting homes too, so that's good.
Yeah.
So how easy is it for someone to get into insurance adjustment? Because I like the whole aspect of actually traveling and
Hmm.
being out there like that.
Actually, it was very easy. It's tedious, but easy. So there are a number of certifications that you can get. But for the most part, the main thing you need to do is get certified or licensed in the state of residency.
Hmm.
Mine happens to be Texas. And then from there, you can get your license in other states. And that's what makes you a more, we'll call it marketable adjuster, someone that can be more, can appeal to these companies who are looking for adjusters, because most of the time they say, hey, Tab, we need you right away in Maryland. And then they'll say, okay, that's done in Maryland. We need you to go to Georgia. And if I don't have my license in one of those states, then I'm not able to jump to it. It's typically like anywhere between 24 to 72-hour notice that I
Wow.
get when it's time to go. So you got to stay ready, and then have your licenses so that when they call you, you can go to those states. And then and there are some I don't have because I don't want to go there, like New York. um but then also certifications, so to make yourself again more appealing to companies, you can get certifications like flood certification. um and there are there are a number more that you can get. But with any industry, it's always about who you know.
Mhm.
So you can always decorate yourself with that stuff. It's definitely important to have the licensing, but the certifications are more decoration, and it's more so about who you know with the certifications.
Mm. Cool. So, I usually steal Paris's question sometimes, but you know, Paris came up with this really good question, and you know, we just want to know what your earliest memory of money is.
Ooh. So I think it was for I can't even remember what birthday it was. I might have been turning 10. And my mom and dad came into the living room and they're like, Tab, happy birthday. And they gave me $100 bill. And I fell out. I fell out on the floor. I was throwing my legs around. I could not believe it. I had $100. And the first thing I did, and this is terrible. This is absolute terrible. The first thing we did, we went to Build a Bear workshop and I got me a Build a Bear. But that's actually one of my first memories of money.
That's a
Um
good memory.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Build a Bear Workshop. I actually got parents to Build a Bear back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't
Hey,
get one.
that was the thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I wish my parents would have, maybe been a little bit more financially, they weren't as financially savvy. So I wish they could have been able to teach me some better things to do with the money versus going to spend it. But it is what it is. I had fun.
And many of us here are one, well, I wouldn't say many of us who, you know, who are in this space, this financial independence, generational wealth. We all share that our parents were not the best at teaching financial literacy. And
Hmm.
we all are aware that our children or whomever we are guardianing, that's going to be one of the key points that we do teach is financial literacy. Uh,
Hmm.
Thank you for having this conversation with us. This was really important. I really liked your story. And I want to know, how can people find you and connect with you on social media or through any outlet that you want them to reach out to you on?
Well, I'm not much of a social media head, so there are only two. You can catch me on Instagram at Tabitha Alexis. That's Tabitha triple A Alexis. And then I'm on YouTube at Tabitha Alexis, and that's just two A's, so Tabitha and then Alexis. Thank you guys for having me. This was really fun. I really like talking to you guys because you guys are in the same headspace that I'm in. It's like, how can we be building wealth, and you never know. I love the podcast because you never know what you don't know. And
Right.
so there are people out here doing things and making money, and some people are probably trying to rack their head wondering, what do I need to do? I'm still trying to figure out new ways to make money as well. So this is actually really cool, and I'll be definitely tuning in.
thank you, y'all, for tuning in to the Travelin' Hustlers podcast, where we share how digital nomads are making money, breaking down that silo effect in the nomad community, and providing actionable inspiration and actionable ideas for hustlers trying to become digital nomads. So, what y'all got going on? What's gonna be your thing? What you got going on next? What are you doing? And let us know on social media and on YouTube. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.